When I was graduating college, I knew that I wanted to do something to protect the environment. And I had several different job offers. I had a position to work with David Brower, a legendary environmental champion, and a few other groups had offered me jobs. And what it ultimately came down to was that I thought Green Corps would be the biggest challenge. They pitched me on that, in fact. They just said I would work the hardest and they'd be the toughest on me of almost anybody. But I knew that they would be tough on me to teach me and to make sure that I could be as much as I could be. I think the most valuable things I learned in Green Corps were just the breadth of things I learned. So as a Green Corps organizer, you manage 30 people in a fundraising and campaign office, which is new for a lot of us. You figure out how to work with different communities. So we worked with anybody from farmers in Idaho to students on campuses to community colleges to just all sorts of different communities. And we really learned how to talk to different people, how to figure out what part of what we were working on really resonated with people in different places. And we learned just how to make environmental issues real to real people. So that was a huge lesson. We also learned campaign strategy, and so I don't know of many people that have such rigorous training in how to plan or design campaigns. We learned how to do press. We did multiple press conferences and events. Very few people in their first job are the spokesperson at a press conference. And we learned how to build local community groups and citizen groups. Green Corps is important for the broader environmental and social change movement for two reasons. First is that I think for too long, the environmental community has focused on policy before it's had enough power. A lot of the original environmental laws were passed before the Koch brothers and Exxon and special interests and polluting companies figured out how to create think tanks, how to fund campaigns, and how to really systematically take over our government. And politicians care about two things. They care about money and they care about people. And we as conservationists and we as environmentalists, we don't have the money that the Koch brothers have, but we have the people that can influence the politicians and we have the people who can influence corporations. Now, I think too much of the environmental community still operates based on what succeeded in 1970, where we focus on policy and we focus on lobbying. And I think those two things are really important, but you can't have policy and you won't get policy without power. And what Green Corps teaches people to do is think about the power of people being involved in our democracy and how to really engage people so that we can win all these fights, whether it's for clean air, clean water, enough water to stop fracking from destroying our drinking water, stop global warming, all these threats to our common good. Green Corps teaches people how to bring people together to win and have power. So I think that's number one. I think number two is that quite simply, Green Corps alum are running much of the progressive and environmental movements. The Green Corps, if you get in, is just excellent at recruiting some of the best and brightest up-and-comers. And then their training is excellent. So now you'll see across the progressive and environmental movement, a lot of the leaders of these groups, either second in charge or first in command, are Green Corps alum.